A lot of guys made you big money on Sunday. Chief among them, 3 handicappers that I chose as discounted plays. You got all their major wager winners for over half price off. Chuck O'Brien winning yet again with his 7th straight 50-dime winner. You got it. Arizona easily over Philadelphia. How about Jeff Benton, his second 100-dime max wager in 2 days, as he was wise enough to buy the half point with Denver and delivered with the Broncos at Pittsburgh. And then, of course, Trace Adams, yet another double your wager winner, as he scored easily with the Minnesota Vikings over Chicago. But instead today, I choose to open the Monday video report before I get to your 2 free selections by talking about a loser. And that loser on Sunday would be moi. Yes, for the second straight Sunday, I decided to have a top-rated 15-dime best bet on the Carolina Panthers. The same Carolina Panthers at 138-0 the week prior at home. Listen, I'm up 35-7 in the third quarter. I turned the game off. Kind of a mistake, because when I turn the game back on, I'm in trouble. 35-7 in the third quarter. Reasonable expectations are laying 4.5 to 5 points, and I actually was laying 4. Reasonable expectations, you're going to have an easy win, even though it's a road game. And then, of course, we saw how that game played out. And what really ticks me off about that game, it's not the fact that I lost, because listen, a win is a win and a loss is a loss. Some losses are definitely more painful than others, and yesterday was one of those, but a win is a win and a loss is a loss. There can be no excuses made. But the fact is, what really ticks me off in retrospect about that game is the fact that the NFL is always talking about the integrity of the game. Oh yes, the integrity of the game. Of course, the NFL is also very hypocritical as well. I mean, after all, this is a league that frowns on sports betting, but fantasy sports is okay. This is a league that frowns on sports betting, but for no good reason that I can possibly think of, for 25-some years, releases injury reports and updates them as the week goes on and releases them to the public, because everybody needs to know who's questionable, doubtful, and probable, right? Yes, absolutely. Again, hypocritical. This is a league that frowns on sports betting, frowns on sports handicappers, but of course has no problem taking, I think, some stadiums advertising for for casinos. Yeah, that's no problem at all. This is also a league that, let's face it, if there wasn't sports betting, it would still be popular, but would it be nearly as popular as it is? But what really ticks me off about the Carolina game yesterday is that Odell Beckham Jr., a guy who was a media darling for all his highlight reel catches in his first year and a half in the league, he blew his whole reputation yesterday. And what really ticks me off is there is a guy who, of course, had the touchdown pass late in the game that tied the game and ultimately cost me the cover, a guy who shouldn't have been in that game. And that's what I mean about the integrity of the game. Because there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you watch that game, he should have been ejected for that game when he targeted Josh Norman. Now, listen, I know Norman and Beckham were going at it all day long. Hey, this reminds me of the Raiders and the Steelers when they used to play in the 70s and 80s, okay? I mean, these guys were going at each other all day. And listen, Norman was no saint either. But what Beckham did, he should have been ejected. Absolutely should have been ejected. But Terry McAulay, the lead referee yesterday, no balls. No balls whatsoever. I don't understand what the guy was still doing in the game. So to me, you jeopardize the integrity of the game. You jeopardize the outcome of that game. And actually, jeopardize isn't the right word. You influence the outcome of that game because of your inability to enforce your own rules. Yeah, you're going to suspend him post-game. Probably going to get a 1-game suspension. Norman probably is going to get fined, and listen, he probably should as well. And I understand this is football, and guys are supposed to go at each other. And this is not about crying over spilled milk, because again, a win is a win and a loss is a loss. But this is about the integrity of the game. There is no effing way that guy, and I'm speaking of Beckham Jr., should have been in that game after the targeting situation with Norman. Absolutely should not have been in that game. And then you have to wonder, well, the Giants really only have 2 offensive weapons, Eli Manning and Beckham. If Beckham's not there, what happens to their offense in the second half? Did the Carolina Panthers still collapse defensively? Did the Giants even try to mount a comeback when they don't have their number 1 receiver and one of the top receivers, if not the best receiver in all of football, in there? I mean, again, it comes down to the integrity of the game, and that's what pisses me off the most. The loss I can deal with, but the way the game was influenced by the lack of adherence to the sport's own rules. Anybody out there on the Panthers yesterday, you should be just as pissed off as I am. Okay, we move on today. Listen, Gabriel Dupont, yesterday, 75-dime winner on New England. Oh gosh, by the way, Matt Rivers, props going out to him too yesterday. He had the 10th ever Blank Check NFL. What is it called? A Blank Check Game of the Year play. 10th ever in his entire career. He was on New England yesterday as well, and you got that for over half price off. Gabriel DuPont, 75 dime winner yesterday. Today, first ever 200 dime NFL release since he joined the site. Back in February of 2014. It's your Detroit, New Orleans side. 6-1-1 best bet run the past 8 days has made $10 bettors a cool $2,500, and he's reinvesting just about every single dime of it here on tonight's game. You get it for over half price off simply by using coupon code 200DIMER, 200DIMER. Gabriel's made $10 bettors a little over $7,400 in the NFL alone since joining the site. He's made those same $10 bettors a little over $11,900 since Thanksgiving of last year. And with 50 dime plays or higher since they debuted at this site, over 21 grand won. And FYI, Jeff Benton, who has won 7 of the past 9 Mondays and has his NFL winner number 12 out of 16 tonight, which also happens to be his 100 dime winner number 3 in a row the past 3 days. He is on the same side as Gabriel this evening. Matt Rivers, who I spoke of, he has a top-rated 5,000 star plays, Monday night total of the year. You save $90, which means you get it for $9 by using the coupon code Rivers9. I think that coupon is it not? Yes, Rivers9, Rivers. And the number 9, Chuck O'Brien, who is only going for winning day number 10 out of 11, after cashing in with every single 50 dime play he had this weekend. He has his college hoops winner number 9 out of 12, a 20 dime play. Norfolk State and UTEP tonight. You save $77 by using coupon code Monday22 as he goes for winning day number 10 out of 11. Let's get to your complimentary plays, guys. In terms of the total tonight, listen, I obviously use the side as my best bet, and I got to be honest with you, I don't know where to go with the total tonight. 51.5 points. I mean, I can make the argument for under and I can make the argument for over. So instead, here on the free plays, which I took a split yesterday, giving you a loser on the Bears, but cashing in with, who was it? The Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to take a look at a couple of college basketball games. First of all, Alabama tonight is going to be hosting Oregon, even though the game is in Birmingham and not in Tuscaloosa. Now, the Tide, under first-year coach Avery Johnson, coming off a 72-60 win against Winthrop in their last outing on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Oregon's coming off a 94-73 win over Long Beach State. Here's the thing. The Ducks started 6-0, and then they lost in Las Vegas to UNLV. They played 2 games out of Eugene this season. They've lost them both, okay? This game, as I said tonight, is in Birmingham. You got the Ducks at 9-2, a high-powered offensive team. You have the Tide at 7-2. 4th game in 10 days for Oregon, and you're traveling across a couple of time zones to go to Birmingham in this one. I look at Alabama's 7-2 record, and I go, they've only lost 2 games. Xavier and Dayton beat them. Xavier undefeated, Dayton with 2 losses. These 2 teams are a combined 19-2 that have beaten Alabama. Now, they beat them handily. Double-digit blowout wins. The only caution that I would have for you regarding this pick with Alabama here tonight is the 6.5-point home dog in Birmingham, is the fact that their second leading scorer, forward Shannon Hale, is going to miss his second straight game. Now, he's averaging 12.9 points a game. The guy that replaced him in the starting lineup, Michael Kessens, I think is his name, he only had 4 points and 4 rebounds in 25 minutes in that game against Winthrop. Now, you got a Ducks team that averages 77.5 points a game. A Ducks team that plays aggressive defensively under Dana Altman, forcing nearly 17 turnovers a game. A team that also leads the nation in 6.5 block shots a game. You have an Alabama offense that averages close to 15 turnovers a game. I still like Alabama because I just don't have a lot of confidence of Oregon outside of Eugene. But again, there's some red flags, and that's why this is a free play on the Crimson Tide. Your other complimentary play, I like a little more. The favorite of the 2 complimentary plays today, that would be Wyoming, minus the 3 points in a game being played at the Cox Pavilion in Vegas in the Global Sports Challenge. Wyoming tonight, first time back in Vegas since they won the Mountain West tournament at Thomas & Mack Center last season. They've got a really good player by the name of Josh Adams, a guard. He's coming off a 31-point performance in his most recent game. He's averaging 25.2 points a game. That's 4th best in Division I ball. Cowboys just beat a pretty decent Nebraska-Omaha team on Saturday, 76-75. Before that, they pulled the upset of New Mexico State in their prior game, a 24-point road dog. They won that game 62-59. This is a New Mexico State team that just handed UTEP their first loss back on December 3rd after a 6-0 start, and just beat them again, the Miners, by double digits in a home-and-home series complete sweep this past Saturday. So it's not like the Aggies are a bad team. Marshall. I went with Marshall in its last game on Thursday against West Virginia in the Charleston Capital Classic in Charleston, and they gave West Virginia a good game. In fact, they were up by 1 point with 18 minutes to go, and then West Virginia went on a 16-1 roll. But as a 21 point underdog, Marshall did get the cover. Now that snapped their 3-game winning streak. Wyoming 7-4, averaging 73.4 points on 46.7% shooting from the field, 37% from triple land. They only allow 68.4 points a game. Not a bad number. I mean, you're tied with Miami, Florida, and Memphis for 121st in the nation in terms of scoring defense. Now, I gave you those numbers because I want to contrast them with the numbers that Marshall has. Marshall likes to play an up-tempo game. Marshall is averaging 76.7 points a game, all 5 starters in double-figure scorings. But here's the thing. They allow 83.2 points a game. Now, they're ranked 335th in the nation in terms of scoring defense. 335th. There's only 11 teams worse in all of Division I basketball that are more of a sieve defensively than Marshall. 3 points? I'm going to lay it with Wyoming here in this game at the neutral site in Las Vegas, even though Cowboys only have 3 players back from that team that played in last year's Mountain West Championship tournament championship. But one of them happens to be the 4th leading scorer in the nation, and that's good enough reason for me. So I'm going to back Wyoming as your other complimentary play, along with Alabama as the quote-unquote home dog playing in Birmingham tonight. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.